What's going on, y'all? It's the Conscious One coming at you. Just back with a little mini, I'm gonna call this a little mini rant. Excuse me, a little mini rant because I'm not really upset because I'm already used to it. I think it's time for me to start going back to Chinatown here in New York and start only dealing with the Chinese again. Uh, when I go away from Chinatown, those of you who listened to me in the past, you know, when you go away from Chinatown and you're trying to do these gig apps, you start dealing with places like McDonald's, Wendy's, Burger King, McDonald's, White Castles, excuse me. And you start running into all the bottom feeders. When you go outside of Chinatown, you start running into all the bottom feeders. The people who work at the place is a bottom feeder. The people you delivering to, the McDonald's too, they're bottom feeders. And so with all the bottom feeders comes, stupid stuff that happens. Your satisfaction rate starts going down. These poor people are more likely to give you a thumbs down because their fries is cold, which can have nothing to do, with you. See, when I'm delivering from Chinatown, I don't have any issues with food being cold, time, preparation, satisfaction from the customers. I don't have any problems when I deliver from Chinatown. You know why? Because China takes care of their business. Let me tell you guys what just happened at this Taco Bell. They won't give me my order. It's like 20 degrees out here, right? 25 degrees. They won't give you your order through the drive-thru, so you gotta get out your car and then you gotta walk into the dining room, which, we're supposed to be trying to keep 6 feet apart. So really, they should just give the gig app workers their food through the drive-thru. But no, they want you to get out the car and cold and come inside. So I go do that to pick up the order. And when I get inside there, keep in mind, this is not the first time this happened. I walk in there and nobody is acknowledging that I'm in the dining room waiting for my order. And then 1, 2 people look at me and then they'll just look at the other person like, it's not my responsibility to be at the counter today. It's not my responsibility to be at the counter to see you run into a bunch of infidels. And so then I leave. I say, okay, this is like the 4th, 5th time this has happened. I've walked inside the place. They won't acknowledge that I'm there to pick up an order. They won't even say a word to me. I'm just standing there looking stupid. So I get back in the car and I go through the drive-thru, and the guy says, I said, can I pick up my Uber order? He, no, sir, you have to come inside. I said, I'm not coming inside. I said, you're gonna give me my order because I come inside and you guys don't even acknowledge that I'm in there. Well, and this guy says, well, you can't just demand that we give you a few. I say, yeah, I just did demand that you give me my food because guess what? I don't have to pick up this order. I can just cancel it and tell the gig app through my app that I'm not being taken care of by the store employees. I can also call your manager, who I know works in the morning, to leave all you infidels to work the night shift, because that's what happens. These restaurants, there's no management going on. That's why there's nothing but anarchy going on. There's no management going on at these restaurants, the bottom feeder restaurants. It's just they have a bunch of kids and adult children running the place. There'd be no manager. The managers work in the morning, they leave before 5 o'clock. The manager actually has a life. It used to be that managers was always managing the restaurant, but now it's not like that. They can't afford to even pay managers to be managers at these bottom feeder places. So you have a bunch of kids and adult children running the place from probably about 7 o'clock to 5 o'clock in the morning by the time our real manager shows up. And so the guy, I proceed to tell the guy, since I just explained to you that this has happened to me several times and this is why I'm upset, you could be just nice and give me the food, since there's no one in the drive-thru and there's no one in the dining room. And so the guy continues to say, well, you can't demand that we do. I said, okay, all right, then forget it. I'll just let the gig app know that I'm not being helped by the store employees. And he says, and then another girl, like a girl and a guy, is talking to me at the same time. And they say, oh, have a good night then. We're not giving you your food. I said, fuck you. See, I hate to that rage part of me. I hate that when that part comes out of me. Because if people was just nice and respectful, you wouldn't have to have this monster come out in me. I remember one time I went into a Domino's a pizza place and I had to call this chick a bitch. I felt bad about that lady, but it came out of me again. I was inside the restaurant And they told me 3, 4 different times my pizza was coming. And I was in there for 40 minutes without picking up my pizza to deliver. They told me several times, it's on the way, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes. And they kept telling me it'd be here out in 5 minutes. Until finally I just exploded. You see, why does it have to be like that? But I got to get out of here. I got to take care of some business. But this is why I'm glad China is taking over some of you. I'm part of this. I'm kind of glad that this communism, China. And by the way, I can't breathe. You know, you got your mask on. I can't breathe. That's an anagram for a better China. And I'm glad the Chinese taking over this more, because most Americans don't want to do nothing but play. I don't see no Chinese on their phones playing all day with their phones. They're working. They're working to build phones to have you asleep so they can take over your shit. The Chinese do not play. Americans love to play. That's all Americans are a bunch of adult children that want to be on their phones and play all day. They deserve what they get. I'm out. Peace.